the Transport Department, saying road safety is dependent on the conduct of motorists and pedestrians. Officials are promising a zero-tolerance approach to lawlessness as thousands begin their travels to the festive season. The Deputy Transport Minister Mkhuleko Hlengwa is my guest next, and we talk to him now. Deputy Minister, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. The Arrive Alive campaign, is it indeed one that still holds true for the country despite the many tragedies we've seen on our roads?
Good evening, Paul, and to the viewers. Well, there's no alternative. We have to continue on this trajectory of pursuing the Arrive Alive campaign. But of course, we need to add new dimensions and agility within the plan itself so that we can be able to yield the results that we want of reduction of road fatalities. We are a signatory to the United Nations Decade of Action to halve road fatalities by the year 2030. The work that we are currently doing in our assessment is beginning to yield results. There are green shoots. However, it's early days and we need to actually up the tempo, and we want to not jinx it because we have got heightened travel as per the outlook is concerned next week and just before the 31st as well. Now, above and beyond is that there will then be the return to work and return to school and so on in mid-January. So the next 30 days are of critical importance, and we believe that we are making a headway. I just want to report maybe two important aspects is that we've been having difficulty, of course, with the implementation of what is called the third shift, which enables us to have 24/7 visible policing and deployment of traffic law enforcement officers. Minister Creasy has engaged the Minister of Public Service and Administration, Nkosazana Buthelezi, who has granted the waiver for us or the exemption for us to now be able to pay overtime exceeding the threshold of 30%, which now enables us to have visible policing 24/7. And that is the deployment which we are going to be doing because weekends remain our major headache. Secondly, is that the National Traffic Police have been deployed effective Friday, 800 of them throughout the country on the 20 priority routes, which generally give us problems on one hand, but also ones which register the highest volumes of traffic on our roads.
Yeah.
This is a collaborative approach, therefore, that we're doing. There is now regular MinMex, Minister and MECs, that is taking place Tuesdays and Wednesdays for the purposes of pooling and sharing of resources from municipalities and to provinces and working on cross-province traffic law enforcement to enable us to actually deal with the challenges. I think what you rightly point out, Koli, is that all the interventions that we are making are half the equation. The second half is really on drivers and road users.
Yeah.
And hence we continue holding on to the clarion call, don't drink and drive. I was in the Eastern Cape today, and just this weekend, some 217 people have been arrested for drinking and driving just over the weekend. And this is fundamentally where the problem is. Today, in Alwal North, we arrested some 4 people. And what is concerning is that it is young people in the main who are doing this. So what we are calling for is therefore the personal responsibility now so that they can be traction in the efforts we are making and what the road users are doing.
Personal responsibility, Minister, yes, you are correct, and I can't again say what you are saying there. But as you rightly point out, driver behavior is almost always part of why accidents happen. There's been so many messages throughout the many years that we go into this festive period, but it doesn't seem that people are adhering to the rules. What is it that will sway people from actually not doing wrong things? You've just pointed out 217 people arrested for drunk driving, what is it that is going to change behavior?
Well, we need to hold true to the constant messaging and the consequence management, and hence our heightened traffic law enforcement deployment. 87% of all the registered fatalities or fatal crashes can be traced back to driver behavior, and hence, therefore, we believe that constant, consistent policing and visibility is important, and the efforts we are making with provinces. Secondly, is that working with civil society, we need to actually heighten public education and working with the media such as yourselves to continue the message. Of course, the consequence management at some point has to actually change, and we are looking at the possibilities and options of legislative amendments so that from a prosecution point of view, we can mete out harsher sentences, which will couple that with R2 work that we are doing. The National Road Safety Strategy is currently under review, and we have completed the draft, and we will be tabling that to Cabinet probably in the first quarter of 2026. And it is an updated intervention of the ecosystem in terms of what needs to be done, including but not limited to technological assessments and interventions. We do believe that we must actually work with the whole of society. I can indicate that there are green shoots that we are on the right direction. This year, we are holding on to a reduction of fatalities and fatal crashes of about 7.3% in terms of comparison from last year.
Yeah.
And just in the first 12 days of the festive season, we are down 30% as well. But what we need to do is hold true to the interventions that we are doing. And I want to thank the traffic law enforcement, because we are seeing more cases being reported by the traffic law of people trying to bribe the officers, because that has been a problem. And I think our continuous engagement with traffic law enforcement officers is yielding the results that we want, that they too are accountable and responsible for their conduct and action in how they handle those who are misbehaving on the roads. And so these arrests of people bribing are encouraging.
All right, Deputy Minister, I'm out of time. Quickly, if you can. I can't talk to you about road accidents without talking about the Road Accident Fund. I seem to know, unless I'm completely wrong, that that entity is delegated to you. The former CEO of the Road Accident Fund is desperately wanted by Parliament's Scopa Committee. Does the Transport Department have a position on how Collins Letsoalo has simply told that committee to basically go jump?
Well, maybe let me start here. Yes, I do have delegated responsibilities that Minister Creasy gave me on the 20th of August, 2024. So I've got defined parameters of responsibility, and I think that is important for the strength of government, for ministers to ensure that there's clarity in the work of any department, and there is such clarity in the Department of Transport. Secondly, the former CEO of the Road Accident Fund, his term of office ended in August 2025, and therefore is no longer within the purview and jurisdiction of the department or the entity. We remain committed as the department to adhering to the dictates of the Scopa inquiry, and we will subject ourselves to the processes that they will determine, as we already have been doing, including ensuring officials who are within the ecosystem, as and when they are called upon, they will do so. I know that the interim board will appear next year, and I am also scheduled to appear next year at a date that the committee will determine, and I will certainly appear before the committee. Mr. Letsoalo is a private citizen now, and he is responsible for his own conduct, and I have got no role to play in how he conducts himself. And I think Parliament must be able to exercise its powers and responsibilities to ensure that if they want a witness, he appears. Anybody, though, within the ecosystem, whether it ref or in the department, wanted by the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, I will definitely ensure that they actually appear, because they are part of the work and part of the establishment of the department. We will not tolerate a situation from any official who wants to evade oversight and accountability to Parliament, and this position has been communicated as we also appeared before SCOPA in May this year and in July and August, and clarified our position. So we are in support of the SCOPA inquiry and believe it will help us uncover much of the rot in REF as we try to turn things around, and things are turning around at REF. We are making payments, we are stabilizing the entity, we are restoring good governance, and we are certain that we will have a REF that is fit for purpose. And by the time the legislative reforms that we are bringing about come, they will be coming into an ecosystem that is ready for change.
Mkhuleko Hlengwa is the Deputy Minister of Transport. Thank you very much indeed.